Good afternoon from Portland, Oregon. It is just about 2 p.m. and I am on my way to San Francisco. You may notice that the seat is a little different for this ride, and that is because I got a roomlet upgrade for this part of the trip. It's an overnight ride again. We get into Emeryville about 8:30 in the morning. So I put in a bid through Amtrak's bid up system for an upgrade to a roomette, and mission accomplished. So I'm just going to turn this around here a little bit. So this is all my space. It's actually quite comfortable, I have to say. There's 2 seats in here. There's a seat there. It's actually a little closet. And this actually has 2 beds. So these 2 seats, 1, 2, these actually flatten down into a seat. And you can see here, there's also a bunk up there as well that gets dropped. So yeah, this is a pretty sweet little spot. Looks like it'll be a nice comfortable seat for the ride. Lots of privacy here as well, you can see. And a great view. So a nice double window all to myself here. Table that folds out. And as part of it, you also get a 3-course dinner menu, which is pretty fancy. And then I see on the other side here, there's also a traditional dining menu as well. So yeah, not sure how that'll work yet, but we'll figure it out as we go. So, thoughts on Portland. My only regret with Portland is that I wasn't here long enough. Really enjoyed the time here, really enjoyed the city, the people that I talked to and met. Everything was fantastic. I will definitely be back to check out more of the sites, to get outside the city, and so forth. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this was A1. So now, San Francisco, heading there next. I'll be in San Francisco for 3 nights, 4 days basically. I get in pretty early tomorrow, around 9 a.m. and my check-in at my hotel that I'm staying at isn't until around, I believe, 3 p.m. So my plan is to go there, drop my bags off at the luggage storage that they have at the place, and try and go do some sightseeing prior to being able to check in. But yeah, that's it for now. Just a quick update on the roomlet, and I'll provide some more thoughts on it as we get going, and of course to see how it is for sleeping tonight. So some of the other features that are in this little roomlet. There's all kinds of little things here. There's like a ceiling light that gets turned on and off here. There is a little light here if you want one closer for reading. There's a music control, but I don't hear any music, so I don't know what that does. There's a charging unit there. It says Razor only, but whatever, I'm using it for my laptop. Temperature control there, which I don't really know does a whole lot, but anyway, it's fine. As I mentioned earlier, there's a little table here that gets pulled out, and it actually flips out this way as well, if you want to do that. So it was a good little spot for working with my laptop earlier, so that's kind of handy. And then that just folds right away like that. Yeah, and that's really it. So far so good. It's been super comfortable. The chair's nice and wide. I took a little walk around earlier, and I have dinner reservations set for, I think, 7:15 this evening. The guy that works on the train in this part of the train says he came by earlier, but I wasn't here, which I found weird because I was here the whole time. So maybe I went to the washroom or something. I don't know. Anyway, I like it. It's comfortable. It's, very fancy for someone like me. I feel weird even asking questions about, how do I get dinner, or what snacks are included, or any of that kind of stuff. I feel just not used to it, I guess. So yeah, anyway, so far so good, no complaints. We are about 3 hours into the trip so far. We just passed through Eugene, Oregon not too long ago. Looked like a cool little town. So my plans for San Francisco, I'm there for 3 nights, and I plan on seeing as much as I can in those 3 days. I'm really excited to visit California. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. So the California portion of my trip is about 2 weeks long. 3 nights in San Francisco. Then I go on to Los Angeles, where I'm staying there for 3 nights. I then have a rental car booked from Los Angeles at the airport, which I pick up. And I have that booked for a week. During that week, I will be traveling to some of the national parks, including Yosemite, as well as Death Valley. And then I think a final night in Palm Springs as well. So a nice little circuit around the eastern part of the state. It'll be good. It'd be a nice way to kind of get out and see other parts of California, see some of the national parks, which, you know, I'm really excited about. And I think it'll be nice just to have a car and be able to kind of bomb around on my own for a few days as well. I think that my beard is glowing, by the way. Good morning from California. We arrived here overnight. We are about 20 minutes or so from Emeryville, California, where we will transfer to a bus that takes you into San Francisco. I had a pretty good sleep last night, all things considered. I didn't really know what to expect with the roomlet bed, but it worked out okay. It was pretty comfortable, it was quiet, and the blinds certainly helped to keep it nice and dark for the night. And yeah, it was pretty good overall. So if you are looking to travel Amtrak long distance, I would recommend looking into the roomlet as an option for a solo traveler. You do not have to pay the full price for it. One of the things that Amtrak offers is a bid up program, which I've mentioned before, but it worked out really great in this case. I just put in a bid at the minimum level for this route, and it was accepted. So it was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So I would recommend that if you're looking to travel long term and you know you want to have a bit of privacy and get some work done or whatever. You know, it's well worth that. So let's get ready to transfer to the bus to San Francisco. I think my first plan of action after I get everything dropped off and sorted is to maybe go see if I can find some breakfast somewhere. And then we'll see what's around the area for things to see. And maybe go for a wander. Welcome to Grace Cathedral here in San Francisco. So some of these murals here along the sides are not just religious in nature, but also here's a good example of one from the Great San Francisco earthquake in 1906 and the efforts that were made to rebuild the church after that. Here's a photograph of the original chapel which we just had a look at. This one's from 1934 and was photographed by Ansel Adams. Pages from the King James Bible from 1611 AD. So I'm making my way over now towards Nob Hill, which is not that far from Grace Cathedral where we just were. It's worth noting that Nob Hill has been around for several hundred years, was sort of the area where many of the richest and most affluent in the city have lived for generations. After the 1906 earthquake, much of Nob Hill was then rebuilt into high-scale hotels and office buildings and those types of things. But let's take a walk through and see what it looks like. On this corner, we have two of the highest end hotels in the city. We have the Intercontinental, and then on the other street over here, here's the legendary Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco as well. Runs you about $1,500 a night, more or less. I'm not fancy enough to stay anywhere for $1,500 a night. So of course, one of the most famous things that you see in San Francisco everywhere is the cable cars that run up and down all the city streets. Do a very good job of getting up the hills, which here can be backbreaking at best, we'll say. Here's a flip this around. This is an example of, it's always hard to tell on camera how steep the hills are, but this is the way we're heading down next. The cable car museum is just down the hill a few blocks, so let's go check it out. I had no idea that this was all under the city here. The Clay Street Hill Railroad Grip Car number 8 displayed here is the only surviving car of the original 1873 fleet, making it the oldest cable car in the world. I had no idea that this was all underground here. Some pictures from the 1906 earthquake and fire, of course, and damage that was done to the city at the time. after the earthquake in 1906, there were 3 days of fires that ran through the entire city. According to this, it says it burned through 490 blocks of the city, which was pretty much all of it. And they almost had to start the entire city over from scratch after the accident. Some of the various tokens and things that were used for the streetcars and cable cars back in the 1890s, 1900s and beyond. So after World War II, there was an effort by the city to actually get rid of all the cable cars and replace them with buses and streetcars. But through to an effort from the public, and I believe it was a vote about it as well, they ended up keeping the cable cars after all. And then in the early 80s, there was an effort to reconstruct the cable car system as well, which was successfully completed in 1984. So the Cable Car Museum is pretty awesome. I would recommend it if you're coming to San Francisco to check it out. First of all, it's free, and second of all, it's loaded with history about the city and the Great Earthquake and cable cars and all of the other things in between. Definitely worth your time. Yeah, absolutely fantastic little spot. From here, I'm going to make my way over to Lombard Street, the famous twisty road here in San Francisco. I'm sure it'll be a million tourists, but it's on the list, so let's go check it out. So I'm down here by Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco at the cable car depot, I guess you'd call it, starting point. I just wrote it down from the top of the hill near Lombard Street down to the bottom here, and I was going to hop on it to get back up, and there's a bit of a lineup, so I'm just going to chill out here for a few minutes. So far I think I have walked uphill every direction possible today, which is fine, but it's been a lot. Lombard Street was bananas with tourists, as I expected it to be. Tourists walking, tourists driving, traffic, chaos, all the things you come to expect with one of the most famous and busiest tourist attractions in San Francisco. One of the things I'm most looking forward to this week is actually heading over to Alcatraz Island. I'll be going over there in a couple of days' time. I got a ticket booked today to go over, so that'll be a lot of fun. I'm really fascinated by Alcatraz and so many movies and so much history there and everything else, so that'll be really, really cool to see as well. Perfect day here. It's like 16 degrees Celsius, which is like, what, 62 Fahrenheit? Nice breeze, sunny, just, yeah, perfect. It is now about 1:30 in the afternoon, and my hotel check-in is at 3, so I think I'm going to go back before too long, get checked in, and have a shower and just kind of do some work for the rest of today. I've got 2 more full days here after today, and they're going to be pretty full days, I think, between the Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz and Chinatown and Fisherman's Wharf and a bunch of other spots. One of the tips I'll give you for if you're coming here and you want to be able to ride all the buses and the cable cars together, it took a little bit of figuring out, but there's an app called Muni, M-U-N-I, Muni Mobile, and on it you can buy tickets, individual tickets or day passes. From what I can tell, the best deal seems to be the day pass plus cable cars, which was $13. So that seems to be probably the best deal going around, because I think an individual cable car ticket was like $8 or something like that. So ride it twice and it's already paid for itself, and then you get everything else on top of that. So San Francisco is beautiful, despite the backbreaking hills. It's a beautiful city. Lots of interesting things to see here. So I think it's gonna be a really good 3 days in San Francisco. Anyway, more to come.
Let's go. Yep. Okay, now you. Hold on, okay? We need you here.
इधर है लंबार्ड सृष्टि इधर है ये देखा था
Other people might want
Always like that.
Good afternoon from the Amsterdam Hotel. I have checked in and I'm in my room. I'm here for 3 nights. I booked a private room in this hotel / hostel. But yeah, it seems like it was a good choice. It's got a private bathroom, private balcony, the whole bit. So I thought I'd give you a quick tour just before I make a mess of everything. So you come in, I'll turn this around, and you get a pretty good, I don't know, double-sized bed, I would say. Rack, sink is out here, mirror, and lights. Through here is the shower and toilet, which seems nice and clean and modern. Towels included. Over here we got a work desk and chair, which is perfect for my needs. And when you book this place, you also get your own private balcony with a couple of chairs, a light. Yeah, this will do just fine for the next 3 nights. So I managed to get quite a lot packed into San Francisco today. I arrived in town this morning about 9:30, and it's now just about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, saw lots of things today, which was great. Because a lot of those times when you arrive somewhere new, your first day is just kind of get settled, the whole bit. But today I decided to walk about 5-6 miles around the city, mostly uphill. But for now, I'm going to have a shower, get changed, get myself situated, and do a little bit of work. And then maybe after that, I might go get some dinner a little bit later. Hello from Washington Park in San Francisco. We're here on our second day now in San Francisco, and I thought today we would go check out a couple of different spots that are very famous in the city. The Haight-Ashbury area, which was the ground zero for the counterculture movement in the 60s and 70s. And then after we finish up there, we're going to head over to the Golden Gate Bridge to have a look at that. So, let's get going.
Stockton and Green.
Good afternoon. We've made it over to the Haight-Ashbury section of San Francisco, which was the center point for the 1960s counterculture and hippie revolutions. A little bit before my time, but being such a huge music fan, so much influence and history commanded this area that shaped music for decades to come. And so I wanted to take a little walk around, and I thought I would start up here on the side of the hill first, as there's a couple of famous homes here that were quite influential, we'll say, towards music in the 60s. And the first one we have here is 710 Ashbury, here in San Francisco, which is the legendary home of the Grateful Dead, who recorded and lived here in the 60s for a number of years, produced some of their greatest early albums here, and now is, like most of the area, pretty gentrified, but still a cool place to be. So during the 60s, most of the classic rock albums that came out from Janis Joplin, Grateful Dead, and so many others all originated in this little area up on the hill here in San Francisco. Early 90s grunge music is what kind of got me into a lot of the 60s rock music, and kind of worked backwards that way, which I guess was the whole point, given how much influence there was at the time. So the second house of significance on this street, mere blocks away from the Grateful Dead house, is this one coming up on the left. Welcome to 635 Ashbury, which was the home of Janis Joplin in the 60s. Again, lived here for a number of years, produced a number of albums here, and again is a central point for a lot of the early 60s rock music influence. So just a block away from those two homes is the corner of Haight and Ashbury, which is, again, as I mentioned earlier, kind of the spot where, if you're looking for a pinpoint on the map for where to come to walk through some of the history of the area, this is definitely the place to be. Again, despite all the gentrification in the area since the 60s, you can see a great deal of effort has been maintained to try and keep some of that influence and style in the existing places today. Welcome to the Golden Gate Bridge. We have arrived. We're here at the little park area before you go onto the bridge. If you don't know, the Golden Gate Bridge actually spans the Golden Gate, which is about a 1 mile wide body of water. And the bridge was opened in 1937 after a few years of construction, and is now one of the busiest bridges in the country. It is 3 or 4 lanes in each direction, plus the walking platforms on both sides, so it's a pretty significant bridge for sure, and a very busy tourist area as well. If you're going to come here, there's no charge obviously to get onto the bridge if you're walking. There's a little park here with a cafe and a museum with information inside, which is probably worth your time just to check it out, just to learn some of the history about the place. If you're like me and decided just to use the public transit, it's super simple to get to here. Google Maps has it, and it takes you right to the parking lot here where it lets you off. And I think it's like $3 each way or something. I mentioned yesterday about getting one of those Muni Pass all-day passes for the bus system here, and without the trolley system involved, so if you just want just for the buses, it's $5 for the whole day, which is a great deal. Allows you to get on and get off where you want. I've used it all day today and had no problems with it whatsoever. You just flash it at the bus driver and off you go. So I would highly recommend that as a very affordable way to get around the city. Uber and other things are obviously available, but they are quite a bit more expensive. For example, for me to get from here back to my hotel is about $40 US via Uber, or about $3 on the bus. Anyway, let's go take a walk and check out the bridge. I've only come across about a third of the way just to kind of get a view, and the view of the city from up here is amazing. I'm just going to flip this around real quick. Chain link fence in the waist, but the visitor center and stuff is over there, and then all of San Francisco is over there. Just out in the water there, you can probably just see a little bit of where we're headed tomorrow, which is Alcatraz. Here you can see the Welcome Center, which has both the information desk and exhibit, as well as the souvenir store if you wanted to get something like that. There's also the Roundhouse Cafe, which sits here with a view of the bridge. There's a parking lot, so that way if you come here by bus like I did, the bus just drops you off like right here, so it's great. What's really funny I find standing here is that you know, while you've got the bridge this way and everyone photographing this way, you turn around and over on this side the view is just as nice. You've got all of San Francisco and down to the Fisherman's Wharf, and across there you can see Alcatraz, and then, you know, all of the water, and over to Sausalito on the other side of the bridge. But 90% of the people here seem to be just focused on the bridge, which I think is kind of interesting. Hello, Mr. Pigeon. So down there you can see is Fort Point. Now, if you're as much of a movie nerd as I am, you'll know that Fort Point has been used in several films over the years. Those rocks along the edge and that walkway, most famously, were used in Vertigo, in the scene where Madeline jumps into the San Francisco Bay and gets rescued. You used to be able to get down behind the building at one point but it's now been since blocked off with a fence. Good morning. It is Tuesday, about 9 a.m. and this is my last full day in San Francisco. It's been a great experience so far. I've been able to see a lot of the city. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of the things that I've shown you so far. Today for me is the day I've been waiting for the most. Today I go to visit Alcatraz Island. Steeped in history, you know, so many movies and shows based from Alcatraz, and being kind of a history nerd, I'm really excited to go and visit today. So I've got a ferry crossing booked for 11 a.m. so about 2 hours from now. So I'm going to get some breakfast and some coffee, and then we're going to head down to Pier 33 where the ferry departs from. I don't know how long I can stay on the island for. I'm assuming until I'm ready to come back, same day of course. But so once we return from the island, we'll explore a little bit of the Fisherman's Wharf area down by the waterfront and see what's going on down there as well. So let's get going. So we've arrived down here near the wharf at Pier 33, which is where we catch the ferry over to Alcatraz. It's a nice ride up there on the streetcar. One of the historical streetcars that they still have in operation here, the F line, which is still part of the San Francisco transportation system, and still works with the Muni pass as well. What is this? A prison for ants?